Everybody, hello, this is Miss G. What is going on? What is going on? Hello, good people. Hello, Facebook. Africa awaits. Hello, my Globe Tribe. And also, hello, YouTube. How is everyone tonight? Welcome to Let's Talk, Travel, and Move to Africa. Hey, Kaden. Hi, Miss Jacqueline. Welcome. You are new to the Globe Tribe. Welcome. We're going to have so much fun, learn a lot. So I want to welcome you to the Globe Tribe. So my name is Gloria, Miss G, and I'm an avid traveler, avid solo traveler, 50 plus traveler. Brucette, how are you? Welcome back. Um, 50 plus traveler, and I stumbled upon loving Africa and have been to the continent several times, planning on retiring there. And through my journey, I would get a lot of questions. So I decided, let's all talk about it. And it kind of grew legs, and I'm excited. So um, that's where we are now. So we started back in October, just going through because everyone knows, like the top five African countries: Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, South Africa. But has anyone heard? Put it in the chat for me. Has anyone heard of Gabon? Has anyone heard of Gabon? So, Africa is a continent. You don't have to say that. It's sad because Africa is massive. But through my research, it's pretty amazing that on the map, and a little boy, I don't know if y'all saw this on like your threads, that they made Africa intentionally small. When you look at it on the globe, it is not massive like Asia, and even the United States looks really, really big. When the United States can fit in um, the Sahara Desert, yeah, and just um, in the country of Kenya, you can fit Texas 2.5 times and still have some room left in the country of Kenya. That's how massive um, the continent is. So has put a one in the chat uh, if y'all have heard of Gabon. Put "we ready" in the chat because 2025 is making us ready to do some things. We have to be intentional and get things done. Who in the chat has a trip planned to the continent? And tell me where you're going. Also, I would love to know where you're going because or if you have if you just got back, Nathaniel, how are you? Welcome back. Um, yeah, if put in the chat if y'all just came back. Who went to Daddy December? Who went to Daddy December? Y'all are just getting out the bed right now. So, anywho, tonight um, we are talking about Gabon. And Gabon is one of a serious hidden gem It is Africa, the embodiment of Africa at its finest, because a lot of the countries we see, they have developed, and it's beautiful, right? It's cool, especially us coming from the United States. Even though we say, oh, we want to be in Africa, it's funny. I have some friends, right? Real side note. So I was sharing, and the first thing they said, oh, well, does the place have air condition? Has to have air condition. Oh my God, how can you not have air condition? Oh, and does it have this? And it does, and does it have a TV in every room? That's why we're getting away. Right? What's the point of going to a place? See, and I don't know about y'all. Anybody want to get jump on camera and let's talk about this. Let's talk about this. So when you go to another country and spend all that money to go to another country, why do you want the same accommodations? Now, I'm not saying you go and you live in, in the mud huts, okay? Not saying that. And you going, in the hole. Not saying that. But when you go to another country, don't you want to experience the country and like, a tourist native, right? But honey, folks came for me. And I was like, well, I have fans. They're in every room. It's not a problem. Oh no, you have to have that, and you don't have a TV. Oh my God, I gotta have TVs in every room. And I'm like, so why are you leaving the United States if you want the same type of setup when you go to Africa? So you have this idea of Africa, but when you get there, you don't want to experience it. Am I talking to somebody in the chat? We want to go to Jamaica, but we want who that? Hi, Miss Tamara. Tamara, not Tamara. Tamara. Yeah. Yeah. So I I I get a chuckle over that people want to go to the motherland, but they want to be accommodated like they're still here. So I'm like, why don't you just go to Miami? Go to Miami or one of the coast here. But anyway, so Gabon is a very special place. And especially if you really want to experience and have that true African essence, because Gabon is one of the African countries. Now, Gabon is in Central Africa, um, but it's like Central Africa. So it's on the coast, so it has a coastline. And what's so interesting about the coastline and Gabon, so many things are so interesting and lovely about Gabon. They call it the virgin land of Africa because 200 miles of coastline. And I don't know how, the Muzungas and the colonizers aren't grabbing on that. Gabon is sitting on the Atlantic Ocean, and it has 200 miles uninhabited land, coastline. 200 miles. Is that crazy? No one's gone. So Gabon, I feel, based on my research with it, it has a lot of potential to do some things. Um, but as we know, with certain leadership, because Gabon has great resources, they were like Botswana, and after their independence, You know, they were digging. Does anybody remember Beverly Hillbillies? So they were just minding their business and digging. Chop, my Lakeview people. Hi, Mr. Winslow. How are you? Yes. So does anybody remember the Beverly Hillbillies? And they get to the place, and they just are digging, and they come boosh oil, and they're rich. Gabon did not know. Like so many of the African countries did not know that they were sitting on some of the most valuable to the entire rest of the world, because no other place, I want y'all to hear this, and I want y'all to sit with this, like for real. So when they try to shade us, where we come from basically made this entire world. Because if it wasn't for the resources that were found in the country, I mean, in the continent, the resources of the gold, the diamonds, the iron ore, the manganese, the oil, um, and even the other agricultural resources. And the colonizers came, took, and the slaves and people property to go over to other places like the island nations and have them work for free to nothing. Okay. Um, we've set up continent of Africa has set everyone in the world up, especially Europe. Absolutely. Absolutely. So that's why they call it the motherland. It's not like a coin term. Africa is the motherland. It's the mother of everything, the first of everything. No other place has the history like we were talking about Egypt yesterday. Egypt goes back 1000 BC. Not Egypt, Ethiopia. And Ethiopia is older than Egypt. We would have thought the opposite. So anyway, just on side note with that. But anyway, going back to Gabon. Gabon still in 2024 still has the African essence of what in our minds we have seen on TV or whatsoever. Um, but it's interesting, they have so much natural virgin land, coastlines, uh, like lush, like they're known for their mangroves, and they have 80% of the country is just lush landscape, just lush landscape. And the interesting part is it's not a lot of people there. So it's a small country in a way, but it's pretty much uninhabited. It's only 2.5 million people in the entire country. So it's very sparsely populated. The um, the capital is Libreville, and Libreville has a history going back because since it's on the coast, and as everyone should know by now, when the country was coastal, it was part of slave trade. That's just what it is. We are irritated and upset, but that was the business. That was the business of when you go to Paris, when you go to Portugal or wherever, and you see those beautiful, the architecture and everything. Who did all of that? Where did they get the money to fund all of that? Just saying. Just saying. Hi, Miss Nazinga. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Just saying, just to keep y'all like this. Keep y'all focused because we gotta stay focused for 2025. We cannot get off track because this 2025 is coming out of the gate like Mike Tyson back in the day. Like it's not stopping. It's like so with that, we don't have time to sit. We got to make some decisions here. So we are all here to support each other, to get information. I'm bringing y'all information. I'm loving to bring y'all information. Um, we have the group that shares so much. I'm so excited that I don't even have to monitor the group. I'll be scrolling. I'm like, that's really cool. And I look and it says Africa. I said, oh, that's my group. But I love that we share information because that's what we need to share information so we can get what we need done. So I want to thank all of y'all for your participation and your presence within Africa Waits. It's some good stuff in here, good stuff, and it's going to continue as we grow, right? So before I forget, y'all put on the books for Friday. We're going to have a guest, a special guest, to talk about going to Ghana. It is a tour. I don't want to say a tour guide. They call it a they they call it a special company or whatever, but he does big trips, big tours, big trips. So he approached me, asked me if you know we could work together later on in the year. So want to avoid Deady December. If you are first time, if you're like 50 and over, 40 and over, go to Deady December uh, at the time you would like to, but it's just so much. We got to kind of ease on into it. So the trip will be in October, and um, the owner, okay, African, and with glampluxetravels, I make it a point to vet only indigenous African Black women owners. So anyone that comes on and talks, about their business, or I recommend, they look like us. I've made that a promise, a promise, a promise, a promise. And they are at top level. So anyway, going back to Gabon. So Gabon, the reason why I say is such a special place and has so many different things, and you get the real essence of being in Africa. You have all of that untapped, uninhabited beauty. If you are uh, into ecology, if it is a mega, if you're in hospitality, yeah, hospitality, this Gabon is a prime eco tourism place. People that just want to be off the grid and do hikes and go down to the springs and just live back. Not being in a fancy place, just have your little Crocs on or whatever those little hiking shoes are. This is the place. This is the place. Um, it's simple, but they're pretty financially stable. But the crazy thing is, they're very financially stable, but there is um, like people that have money and people don't. But I think since it's so much lush land that sometimes, some people just like living on the land, and that feeds into, its GDP. Now the GDP is pretty up there. They have a 20 billion That little country. Giving you, y'all know I be giving y'all the tea. Y'all know I be giving y'all the side tea, okay? What? So it's only 2.5 million people. Let's start doing these numbers and breaking it down. But they have a $20 billion. Miss Janet, welcome back. But they have a $20 billion GDP, and their GDP is $8,000 per person. So for an African country, that's pretty good. And their uh, their minimum wage is the highest in the entire continent. Now, I'm going to tell you what they, we as Americans be like, oh, what? Is that per hour? No. Is that per day? No. It's per week? No. A lot of African countries get paid monthly. They get paid by the month. And Gabon, minimum wage is about 260, 300 US. It's not US dollars, it's like their money, but the equivalent, to make it easy, is about, 300 US a month. But again, and that's minimum wage. That's minimum wage. So people, can make much more depending on what you do. Um, that's why, again, I always stress that moving abroad, and it's not just Africa, it's anywhere, okay? You have to start to change your mindset. And that you may think that, okay, that's a no brainer. Of course, we know that is different. Some people don't. So we go and run to say, oh, well, it only costs this amount of money to live there. So, I'm going to get me a job when I get there. And then you find out it's like, wait a minute, where this is way low. How can you? It's all relative. It's all relative. So for you to really, and I'm going to continue to stress this every meeting or every time I get on, the goal of us that I hope is to really achieve the real American dream. And the real American dream, and what we have a benefit and the privilege of being Americans, even though we get treated as such or whatever, we still by default have that privilege. And it's a lot of stuff that comes with that privilege. And we just need to take advantage of it. So at this time, if we are thinking about making that move, I'm just going to drop little gems. And just like the Miss Melissa that was on talking about Cote d'Ivoire, she and I same way. Like start getting your stuff together and start selling that stuff off. McCary is a great place to sell stuff. Poshmark, I kind of do Poshmark or whatever, but also Facebook Mark. Start downsizing for real, and just put that money in a separate account. Let it grow. Bitcoin is doing real well. I think Bitcoin is about 105, but you can buy some other crypto if that's what you're into. But start downsizing. My passion, because I have a bag company also, my passion is bags. So I had to come to realize, okay, I can't have like 50 bags up there. And I literally walk around with my wallet. Is that some sick stuff? Like, that's like some real American sick stuff. I have 50 bags in my closet. It's like collecting. But I walk around with my wallet. Makes no sense. What was that? Tammy! Makes no sense at all. So if y'all are serious, step one, start to downsize. Because when you get there, all of that stuff will not matter. It won't matter. Nobody cares. Nobody cares if you're walking around with a LV. or a Louis duffel or whatever the thing is. No one cares. No one cares about the what's healthcare. No one cares. No one cares. Start, building your American dream for real. Your American dream is not walking around with a Louis bag and a overpriced Lexus car note. That ain't the American dream. Okay, so get your American dream started by downsizing and liquidating your stuff. Just liquidating your stuff because, on a side note, to live there, other countries don't believe in debt like we do. So you have to come with the cash. You got to come with the cash. So just a side note, I'm telling y'all some real stuff. Y'all got to come with cash. I was trying to get a mortgage. I had a sizable amount down, and I was like, oh, well, And they said, all the banks said that they would give me a mortgage, that they give foreigners mortgages. And 3 days before we were supposed to close, they backpedaled. No explanation, nothing. So what you want to do is set yourself up, and that's why we're talking every night about the different places, the pros and the cons. We're going to dive down deep. I have I've developed a couple of specific repatriation guide, all of that stuff, and then I'm working on like different countries. So you will definitely have something in your hand, and you can study to prepare yourself for the transition, because this is the beginning of the year, right? So with everything that has gone on, what time is it? With everything that has gone on with the new administration, before things just get real ugly, let's start planning now. Y'all serious about this? Put plan in the chat. Put plan in the chat. I'm planning in the chat. Put planning in the chat. We have 11 months. Give yourself the best Christmas present that you, this time next year, will be on your way somewhere. And it doesn't have to be Africa, but at least you will look, or what I ask all of you is to visit the continent. You don't have to live there, but when you go, you will want to. You will want to come back and live there, because it's a whole different vibe. It'll change your life for real. So Gabon is very eco, live off the grid, lush. And with this lushness, it has developed resources, as I said, like manganese, iron ore. They have the oil. Um, there's not many people. They have a high GDP. They also, let me see, what else? The people are cool, like every other place. They are surrounded. They're on the coast, so you have drop dead beautiful beaches. One beach is called the beach of Libreville. So I was talking about Libreville. So Libreville originated from um, it means Freetown. So it's not just one Freetown in Africa, because Sierra Leone also has a Freetown, and they've named those areas that way because formerly it was like a slave trade. And then when they got their independence, they did get their independence in 1960, and it was from the French. It is a French speaking country. I forgot to add that. It is French speaking, so you got to know your French. Okay, got to know your French. So with that, you could visit, and then be a tourist. But as far as living, um, you got to know French, right? It is 82% Christian. They do have a small population of Muslim. They have an extremely young population. And what that means, that's why I do give Gabon like 3.5, 4 handbags, because of its potential. So what you always want to do is get into a place before it pops to make the best benefit. Don't get to a place like, Ghana is wonderful, but everybody want to go to Ghana. So, but what you could have got Ghana for in 2018 or 2015, totally different now, right? So you want to get it before the iron gets hot at that place. So with Gabon, that's still extremely unfiltered and just natural and everything. And if that's your vibe, it would be a wonderful place to retire. Um, I wouldn't advise like family because you want your kids to, but that could be a wonderful place too because you have your natural food. It's all up to what your vibe is, but I think it's a wonderful place. It will just be a very different way of living, compared to where you are here. Let me see what else does it have. It The history rolls back to the 14th century. And the 14th century, usually I tell you the history before, but I, I say it as it comes to my head. So it dates back as far as the 14th century, right? And the 14th century, it was the indigenous pygmies that was there. So then from the pygmies, the major tribe was the Bantu tribe. Okay, so then after that, that's when the French started coming in right around the 15th century. The colonizers started coming in, changing up stuff, just throwing everything off. And but they did end up getting their um, getting their um, independence 1960, right? So the president that went into office was very respected, did a lot, and again under his watch, they found out that they were sitting on tons of oil. And matter of fact, they're sitting on so much oil that they produce, as of today, they produce 200,000 barrels of oil per day. Oh, little Gabon, nobody never heard of. Little Gabon that nobody heard of. That's why I'm just like so excited that, we're going through every single country in the continent. Because who know about Gabon? Has anybody heard about Gabon? Has anybody? Sharifa, welcome. Sharifa, welcome. Has anybody heard of Gabon? I didn't until we went over a couple months ago. And then I saw how fabulous it was and all the potential it has. So, yes, I would give it four handbags. Because if you're into that, tropical, it's all tropical rainforest. So it's almost like I don't want to say a step under, but if you know about Madagascar, like Madagascar is total like tropical, like you run through the forest naked, like that type of living off the grid, hiking, just whatever, seeing the geckos walking. If that's your vibe, Gabon is the place, right? Gabon is the place. And so let's talk about getting into the nitty gritty. Everybody want to know, right? So let me see what else. So let me see. Oh, some little known facts, right? So I told y'all about French is the official language, right? And 82% is Christian. They have about a 9-10% Islamic population. Um, Voting is a must. Like they don't play. Voting is a must. Almost like a respect. Voting is a must, right? Talked about how Gabon has the most virgin land in Africa. Uh, and the coastline, they have 200 miles. It's like 175 kilometers. So I would assume that's around 200 miles of uninhabited white sand coastline. Could you imagine? Just beautiful. Just get it up in the morning and just, that's just heaven, 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 right? So, another fun fact, couple of fun facts. Gabon is sitting on the equator, and it's sitting on the equator so much that half of it, half of Gabon is in the northern hemisphere, and the other half of Gabon is in the southern hemisphere. And they got a line going across. Is that crazy? Yes. So Gabon is sitting on the equator. Half of it's in the southern hemisphere. The other half is in the northern. As I was mentioning before about the population, it's 2.5 million. It's a very, very, very young country. And yeah, where I was getting to before about just the potential of the country. So 50% of its population is under the age of 15. So what that means is they're bubbling a mega great labor force for the future. And then with that, they have the young minds and everything. And you're going to, y'all just keep Gabon in the back of your minds within the next decade and see where Gabon goes because it's moving forward. It's just quiet, you know, the and at the moment it is the prime minister is a woman. Prime minister is a woman, okay, but the past prime ministers, the original one was Umar Bongo, and he served for like 40 years. Then his son took over, Ali Bongo, and he took over like 2009, 2016, but it's a bit of drama. But now it is a woman prime minister there. So that's really, really interesting. She is, trying to make things happen. So let me see. I guess that's it. We talked about, this is what okay. So the cost of living. I told y'all the um, about the resources there, the manganese, iron ore, oil, and then mining, right? And they produce over 200,000 barrels of oil a day. They are the fifth largest oil producers in the sub-Sahara. So the cost of living. Let's talk about if you want to live there and just live off the grid and talk about have a no stress life and just eat the papaya that's just fell and hit you on the head or the coconut or whatever. But with all that lush land, I know a snake. So I'm like, but they may be friendly snakes. I don't know. But anyway, so the cost of living for a family of four is approximately about 3 grand, 3 grand a month. For one person is about 850, and this is like city center in Libreville. You're living decent, you're living pretty Western. Um, and the interesting thing is, as far as just putting it in perspective, the cost of living. is 52% lower than the United States. And the United States as a whole, not the United States Atlanta or United States DC, the United States. So it comes in at about 53% lower than the US. So again, to live your American dream, you have your retirement, you have your savings, you get yourself some passive income. Um, if you're retired military, y'all already know, you know. And so a whole family of four lives off of $3,000 a month. I was looking at how much an apartment is. So one bedroom apartment, I had it written down. Where did I write it? I wrote it all down. A one bedroom apartment was like $400. A three bedroom apartment started like eight, something like that. And it's okay. Here it goes. So a one bedroom apartment. This is city centers. Start about 405. The three bedrooms are a little over 1,000. Not cheap, but it's still a three bedroom, almost like a three bedroom house. And the difference is The difference is when you get that, usually it's furnished. Usually, in some buildings, it comes with staff. So you have a housekeeper coming in every day. Um, some cases, it has utilities. So it's all inclusive, other than what we get in the United States. Um, what you do when you get over there to make money, incomes, okay? Industries of income for expats, obvious: oil and gas, mining. Y'all gonna get this one day. I just repeated every single live. Teaching. They're begging for English teachers. They're begging for teachers that can teach or speak English. They need you at the international schools. Teachers, teachers that hate their job in the United States. These other countries are calling and begging y'all. Yes, English teachers. And then you have tourism and hospitality, especially in the ecotourism um, sector. IT, of course, because they're building infrastructure, so they need IT people to, Wi-Fi and all of that IT stuff, because um, the country has its resources and the country has money. Hey, Charles, got my Lakeview brothers in here. Um, yeah, they have the money because they're sitting on all that oil. So it needs, for to continue to build their infrastructure and everything like that, they need the IT. So that is a major option, right? Then who else? What else? What else? Consultants. Consultants are good. Finance, okay? Finance consultants and business development consultants, because in a developing nation like that, they need someone, and I know they will and can appreciate, because in other countries, especially with Africa, I do not know why. It blows me away that, like, America is just it. Like, America's the Messiah. And I just don't get it, because the euro is worth more than the dollar. But honey, everything is US. So I don't know what I would love to, maybe one, I'll get some time that I never do, to find out why is everyone so intrigued with the United States? That blows me away. Blows me away. But coming from the United States, I do have to say, because I presently dealing business in Kenya. Now I'm on the coast, but it really don't matter because I've dealt in with stuff in Nairobi, and I don't want to be that American. I don't want to be that chick, but it, it goes there, and I just think it's just a culture with. I don't know. It's if you as an expat is in another African country, put in the chat if y'all understand what I'm talking about. It's different. So they are looking for now the folks over there, they have discipline. Okay, they have discipline, but the resources of a different discipline, like to for us in the United States, we're about business, and we're not going to let it sit. Like everyone is racing to the end, and that's how it is in the Western United States. When in the African countries, that's why their skin is beautiful. They be like, "Oh, okay." You're like, this is important. Oh, okay. So it's different. It's real different. So to bring business development, to have consultants show people how to set up, run businesses, so they can scale their businesses uh, to be globally competitive. So they need people in finance, in business development, and then there is freelance and then remote. Now, put in the chat if if what is your biggest fear. Be honest. We're in a group, so it's not like it's you know out on a page. What is your biggest fear or holdback that you're feeling about not booking a ticket, about you're just continuing to listen, and what is the fear? And if the fear is most fears are, that's why I always talk about the yeah, the most fear is of money. Okay, how we're going to live. So I didn't receive, I saw on YouTube that it was this lady. Was it YouTube? Maybe it was Instagram, and she had 5 places. Gregory, thank you for coming back. um it was she had 5 different resources of getting remote jobs. So for people that has only been used to a 9 to 5, but they're ready to go. What's that meme that I love, that meme that says, I'm too I'm too young to retire, I'm too old to quit, and I'm too fat to strip. I'm sorry. I think that is so funny, okay? It's so funny. It's they have like this little ape, like sad and contemplating, and it's saying, I'm too young to retire, I'm too old to quit, and I'm too fat to strip. I think that's so hilarious. But anyway, so if you're in like that dilemma, and you really have not you don't have like a business that you can really um, that you have in place to do, and you can really do, it's so much out here to do. You just got to find the right thing. But she had mentioned several places, and I did put it, since we're in the group, I did share that, so you will see that. And so check those places out. Courtney, welcome. Check those places out because I signed up. Okay, even though I have businesses, but my businesses are developing, and I want my businesses to be strong enough that they are passive, they are passive income. and they can kind of roll on their own and I can walk away. But um, I'm always like looking for a backup. So I did apply to like 3 out of the 5 places because the other two was like IT and stuff like that I just don't know. And I got a call, have an interview on Monday. So I will keep that in my back pocket. So when I'm over there, even though it's not paying much, it's like $15 an hour. But when you get over there and my cost of living is probably literally $500 a month, other than like my house and stuff like that. It's $500, and that's me eating out. That's me getting a driver to take me somewhere like that. Me going out every weekend, because breakfast is like not even $2. So two times 30 is $60. Breakfast, double that for dinner. If I go to night, like tops is $500. So $15 an hour. What is that? I don't know how much that is a month, but I don't know. That's $800. No, that's $800 every 2 weeks. I don't know. It's something like that. So you're having like 2 grand at least a month, and you're living on 500. And you don't have to worry. It's remote. You don't have to go to anybody's job. So I'm just telling y'all because I think I had seen a post that someone had put that one of the companies, I think it was that one, wasn't hiring. And I applied and I have an interview Monday. So, just things that come across, and we share a lot of great information in the group. So I want to thank y'all so much. Keep it coming, keep it coming, keep it coming, and take advantage of whatever y'all see because we're on a mission and to have choices and options. This channel, this group, for me that I made, this is not entertaining or like a feel good. No, we're on a mission. We're on a mission. Well, I know I'm on a mission. I can't speak for anybody in the chat, but for anybody in the chat that want to share too, put American Dream Africa in the chat bar. That if that's what your goal is. Okay, this is not to entertain or bore you. That's why I got off my personal page doing the lives, because there were folks that probably didn't even have a passport, and that's not what this is about. This is about making some decisions, making some moves, and making sure that we have a quality life. Our family has a quality life, and we have the choices. That's why I'm making it a point to go through every single country every single country now to that you can also live in. It's only about 5 countries that is not an option to visit or live, but like 50 countries you can choose from the continent of Africa, when they only kind of put in our head it's only like 4 or 5. No, it's 45, 50 countries that we can choose to live in Africa. And that's Africa. A lot of people may not like the long plane ride. Usually leave at night. By the time you get up in the air, you're tired from running around. You get in the chair. When you get up in the air, they feed you, and then turn off the lights in the plane. And by the time you wake up, you only got about an hour left to be on an hour, a couple hours left to be on a plane, and you're there. You're there. So it's people get kind of tight. So, oh my God, 18 hours. Oh my God. Well, it's not 18 hours straight. Um, it breaks up, but usually those flights leave at night and you're knocked out. Then they have a array of movies that you can watch. So it's not as bad as you think. Anybody have any questions? Thank y'all for coming to the hour of power. Hour of power. Like I said, on Friday, we're having a guest. He's a tour operator from Ghana. He does some great groups, and he will be talking about um, the group trip in October. We have not solidified a date, um, but in October, and it will be a scout trip. So, with the trips that I announced through Glamplux Travels, all of Glamplux Travel group trips are deliberate, okay? Um, we will be doing scout trips. So scout trips are you're scouting out the place, okay? So, but we will also, because since it's so expensive to travel, obviously there, you will have the trips will run a little longer. So if it's usually like a 5 day, well, you can't do Africa in 5 days, but like 8 days, the trip may be 10 days, right? And during that time, you're able to visit as a tourist, but also we're setting it up that you will be able to check out some real estate, talk to some realtors, and then talk to some government business people about business opportunities there. So it's like a big hole in one, right? Hole in one, that you're not just going to visit, then you got to come back. Oh, I saw there. Oh, I got to make a trip, and then you never be able to come back because it's pricey. Let's call it what it is. It's very expensive. Even though the flights are like the flights are only like $900 that start now. Um, um, this is the Ghana trip. For Gabon, it's about 900. It's not bad at all. Um, Starting a round trip from Dulles. Okay, but the trips that we are planning, um, and Glamp Lux Traveling is hosting, will be scouting trips. Not, you know, if you want to book like wellness retreats, that's fine. That's separate. But what we'll be talking about in the group chat, in the group, will be scouting trips only. So there's one scheduled for Ghana in October. Then there's one for Seychelles, and that's changed. I thought it was September, but they changed the dates to November for Seychelles. And with Seychelles, um, during that time, it is Seychelles Fashion Week. So that should be very fire. Okay. So you'll be able to be VIP for Seychelles Fashion Week, and then also look at property and all of that in Seychelles. And Seychelles, we'll talk about Seychelles later, but that's an island nation. So the island nation and the mainland is real different. Um, so very pretty, but the resources are different. Like everything is imported in. Um, we'll get into that later. It's 10:01. What else? And then in March is Botswana. So put all of those down. DJ Carrie Emmanuel. Yes. So put those dates down. October, Ghana. November, Seychelles. March 2026, Botswana. And we're going to add more and more and more on. Does anyone want to jump on right before we get off the hour of power? Thank y'all so much for coming on. I do appreciate it. I hope y'all learned some things, took some things away, learned more about Gabon. It's beautiful. Put something else on your bucket list for the continent of Africa. And sharing is caring. So what I do ask of y'all at the beginning, when y'all come on, when y'all come on tomorrow, we're going to talk about the Gambia tomorrow. When y'all come on, and tonight, do me a favor, share this, because sharing is caring. Sharing is caring. Sharing, that's caring. Yes, sharing. So you don't have to explain, because you're probably that one friend that's going to Africa that everyone's questioning, saying, well, you just got to worry about being safe. Well, you got to worry about being safe over there. Those countries. I'm like, when have you been over there? Have you been over there? Okay. So if you have not been over there, don't tell me how safe or unsafe it is. What I do know, okay, that being here is unsafe. And you should know that. So how you know someplace else is unsafe and you haven't been there? But I'm confused. That's it. I'm just confused. But anyway, I'm not confused with y'all. I want to thank y'all. My name is Gloria. Thank y'all so much for coming on and being part of the Hour of Power. We do this every night, Monday through Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we go through all of the African countries that you would like to visit and live. So I hope all is well. I will reach out, and I always give a gift. So if anyone would like a 5 to 7 day itinerary on Gabon, just DM me. And with your email, I'll send it to you complimentary. It's usually like 14.97 or something like that. But every time we have a live, whatever we are talking about, I will send you one of my custom made itineraries, and you can check it out to just get a feel and all that good stuff. And definitely check out to get the repatriation. It just launched yesterday. I'm so excited about my baby. Um, and I gave it as gifts to two of our, they answered a question. Yes, step by step guide, repatriation guide. Uh, so check that out too. You can go to glampluxetravels, check that out. But anyway, I'll see y'all tomorrow. Thank y'all so much for uh, dropping in. Y'all take care. Thank y'all. Bye, YouTube. Bye, Facebook. What you want? You gotta ask Miles if you want to go sleep. If you want to go to bed. Miles, gotta take him to bed.